Now, uh, don't be don't afraid that there are so many things to learn. These are the icons of technologies that are usually used by different data field experts or data professionals. The first one is R, which is statistical programming language, uh, often used by statisticians and and then by some data scientists. Don't have to worry about these things. Why? Because it completely depends on your organization or the company in which you are going and what the team is using. So when I was at the university and I was still looking at the job for the jobs, I did all my projects on Google Cloud and had pretty decent understanding. And when I started working at Fifth Third, now I completely work on AWS cloud services. So you don't have to learn everything. It's just you should be knowing a little bit or something. They hired me because I had a Google Cloud experience, but it and they know that since I have learned one cloud technology and these technologies are very similar, I will be able to catch up on AWS as well. I can just quickly walk through all these technologies and yeah. So R, as I said, is a statistical programming language. Python is one really powerful language that almost every data professional come across and do use at some point in their job. C++ and Java are more specific depending on if you are more working as a data engineer or software engineer, more on back end, you are preparing pipeline or you are writing services. Suppose you are working in Tesla and you are writing some code so that all the sensors that are gathering the data are will be able to pull the data and then process it, throw it in the machine learning model trained. So you need to know C++, which is more like a firmware level language or very close to low level language. Usually hardware companies or manufacturers use C++ like Qualcomm, ASML. I have given their interviews and almost every one of them were using C++. Java is more of backend kind of service, so Amazon does use it, but there are more documentation and packages available for Python. So usually and slowly everyone is moving to Python now. SQL Server or not definitely not dedicatedly Microsoft SQL, but any kind of SQL language, if you know it's good, you can apply for data engineering kind of job, and that comes really handy when you are working as data engineer and you need to pull some data from databases. Then in the next layer, there's NumPy, Panda, Scikit-learn, TensorFlow, PyTorch. These are a few popular packages from Python, and similar packages are there for R, but not necessarily too many. But yeah, there are packages existing out there for R. NumPy and Pandas are very basic, and almost anyone who is doing data crunching will use that. Scikit-learn, TensorFlow and PyTorch are more towards machine learning models. They do have trained machine learning models or uh, trained one, but you have to provide your data and the model get tuned accordingly. TensorFlow and PyTorch are more high level and usually used for deep learning models, but not necessarily. There are some really good deep learning models in scikit-learn that you can utilize. Uh, all these are frameworks. Then Hadoop is for big data. If you are working as data engineer and your company has a lot of data or data cluster, you should be knowing Hadoop if you're applying for the job. These skills or technologies are usually mentioned in the job description, but if you pick any of these, I always prefer Python over any of these. So if I know Python and some of the packages I mentioned there, it's good. Then Tableau Tableau is a BI tool. There are more BI tools like Looker and one from Microsoft, Power BI, for data visualization. So if you are interested in data analyst or analyst, business analyst kind of job profile, then definitely this will be a good tool to get started with. It's getting popular and it's getting very powerful as well. I have seen Tableau from growing from just a data visualization tool to now a tool where you can write services as well, so that data pipelines can be connected. You don't need any like you can also write SQL queries in there. SAS is another tool for data crunching, and you can also train models on that. Jupyter Notebook is an more like IDE, like NetBeans, but it's more dedicated for Python and for R as well, but usually popular for Python. And it's it gives you notebook. It also gives you interface where you can write scripts and run it. As we know that Python is interpreted language, you can run each statement. You don't have to compile entire scripts all at once. Now, Azure is a cloud service from Microsoft. Google Cloud is Google Cloud, and Amazon Web Services does offer dozens of services. Some of them are very dedicated to machine learning that are used by data scientists and machine learning engineer out there. So no need to learn all of these, but if you are picking any of them, you're getting started, just pick one and start growing that skill set. So if you start with Python, and then you will probably, as a data expert, you will be working with pandas and NumPy. Start with that. Then slowly, once you feel like you are good to go with like Upgraded, you can add sklearn and then TensorFlow. And once you learn TensorFlow or even sklearn in the market, in the field right now, until unless a company is working with like computer vision, machine vision kind of technology, if it is still decision-based company who are looking at data, trying to get some insight from the pattern, they are still using sklearn and not TensorFlow. TensorFlow and PyTorch are some high-level frameworks more used for like machine vision and some NLP, advanced NLP kind of projects. So no need to worry about learning all of those. If you within Python, I'm talking, if you know NumPy, pandas, and sklearn, you can start interviewing, and you can, as things comes in your job, you can learn them and along with that.